Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders are spiraling, and it feels like every week adds another chapter to what has become a season defined by frustration, injuries, and fading hope. After dropping their fourth straight game, falling to a disappointing 3-6 record, Washington's early optimism has been replaced by a cloud of doubt that now hangs over the entire organization. What was once seen as a season of redemption after a promising 2024 campaign has turned into a nightmare that seems to have no end in sight. The latest blow came not just on the scoreboard, but in the locker room, where a string of devastating injuries threatens to completely derail any remaining sense of purpose for this team. It's one thing to lose games because of poor execution or bad matchups. It's another thing entirely when your best players start dropping like flies. That's exactly what happened in Seattle, where the Commanders not only lost the game, but also lost two of their most important contributors, cornerback Marshawn Lattimore and wide receiver Luke McCaffrey. Both are now officially out for the season, and the news gets even worse with quarterback Jayden Daniels suffering a dislocated elbow that could keep him sidelined for weeks, if not the remainder of the year. This is the kind of injury report that can deflate an entire locker room. Daniels was supposed to be the future, the exciting young star around whom Washington could finally build some stability. But after Sunday night's brutal 38-10 loss, the Commanders are left wondering what went wrong and how quickly it all unraveled. NFL.com's Eric Edholm captured the sentiment perfectly when he dropped the Commanders to 24th in his latest power rankings, marking a new low for a team that began the year hoping to compete in one of the league's toughest divisions. I got a little blowback on DC radio this summer when I said that I still felt like this was not a complete roster and that a fallback was possible, Edholm wrote. But I didn't know it would go this way. Not like things were going great before it, but the Bears' loss was really the harbinger of terrible developments. That's a harsh but accurate assessment. The Bears' game back in Week 5 felt like a turning point. Washington came into that matchup with confidence, only to leave exposed and demoralized. Since then, it's been one stumble after another. Edholm didn't hold back when describing how the Commanders' defense looked lost against Seattle. As if Sunday night's home blowout wasn't harsh enough, Jayden Daniels' late injury, down 31 points with 8 minutes left, was the cruel knife twist, he said. That single line sums up the futility of it all. Daniels, trying to make something happen late in a meaningless blowout, gets hurt on a play that shouldn't have mattered. It's the kind of moment that defines cursed seasons, where bad luck, bad timing, and bad decisions all converge into one painful image. Now, with Daniels out, veteran Marcus Mariota will be asked to take over, and while Mariota brings experience, he doesn't bring the spark this team desperately needs. The Commanders' free fall isn't just about the losses. It's about how they're losing. The defense, once the pride of this franchise, has been shredded week after week. Opposing quarterbacks look comfortable, receivers are running wide open, and the pass rush that was once feared has been reduced to a flicker. Nothing seems to be working as it should. Even when Washington manages a few good drives or flashes of potential, it never lasts. The consistency is gone, and with it, the confidence. Fans who were buzzing with excitement just 2 months ago are now venting their frustrations online, questioning coaching decisions, the front office, and even the direction of the franchise. The reality is that the Commanders are now among the bottom third of the league. The power rankings don't lie, and the schedule doesn't get any easier from here. The back half of the season includes matchups with the Lions, Cowboys, and 49ers, teams that are built to punish struggling opponents. That's a scary thought for a Washington squad that's already on the ropes. The locker room has to be feeling the weight of it all. Every press conference now sounds the same. Coaches talking about staying focused, taking it 1 week at a time, and trusting the process. But when your team is 3-6, those phrases ring hollow. What the fans want is results, or at least a sign that there's still fight left in this group. Amid all this chaos, one storyline that's been brewing quietly has suddenly exploded into the spotlight. Linebacker Frankie Luvu's controversial suspension and subsequent reinstatement. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse for Washington, the NFL decided to come down hard on Luvu for his third hip drop tackle of the season, suspending him 1 game without pay. That decision sparked outrage among Commanders fans, many of whom accused the league of hypocrisy. After all, how many late hits has Jayden Daniels taken this year without a single flag being thrown? The fanbase pointed out what they see as a double standard, arguing that the league seems to turn a blind eye when Washington's quarterback gets slammed to the turf, but jumps at the chance to punish one of their defenders. Thankfully for Washington, the Commanders appealed the ruling and won. The suspension was overturned, though Luvu still got hit with a hefty $100,000 fine. It's not chump change, but it's a lot better than losing $500,000 in game checks. More importantly, it means Luvu will be on the field against the Detroit Lions, a matchup that's shaping up to be one of Washington's last chances to show some pride. Without Luvu, the defense would have been even more depleted, especially now that Lattimore and McCaffrey are gone. But let's be real. This is a situation where the team can't afford anyone else to go down. Every healthy player left on that roster is critical at this point. Still, there's a bigger question hanging over Luvu now. Can he keep playing with his trademark aggression without drawing another flag? Or worse, another suspension? The league has clearly decided to make an example of him. After all the criticism about the NFL not enforcing rules on dangerous tackles, they seem determined to show they're serious. Luvu's walking a tightrope, and everyone knows it. One more hip drop tackle, and he could be sidelined for multiple games, with no appeals this time. But here's the thing. Asking Frankie Luvu to tone down his game is like asking a lion not to roar. His entire identity as a player is built on intensity, physicality, and unrelenting energy. That's what makes him valuable. That's what keeps this defense from completely collapsing. So what does he do now? Play tentatively and lose his edge? Or go all in and risk another fine or suspension? It's a brutal position to be in, and it highlights just how broken things have gotten for Washington. Even the players who are trying to do their jobs with passion are being handcuffed by circumstances. But if you ask most fans, they'll tell you the same thing. This season is already lost, so let the man play. If Luvu goes down swinging, at least he'll go down fighting for a team that's desperate for any sign of life. The truth is, Frankie Luvu represents the heartbeat of this defense, even if that heartbeat is fading fast. His energy, his leadership, and his no-nonsense attitude are exactly what this team needs right now. You can feel that in the locker room. The younger players look up to him, and even though he's been moved around, sometimes lining up as an edge rusher because of injuries, he's still the emotional anchor. When Luvu makes a big hit, the entire sideline wakes up. When he celebrates a sack, the crowd remembers what it's like to feel something other than disappointment. That's why, suspension or not, he has to keep playing with fire. Meanwhile, head coach Dan Quinn finds himself under increasing pressure. His first year in Washington was supposed to be about culture, discipline, and progress. And to be fair, there were flashes of that early in the season. But now, it's starting to feel like the same old Commanders. The defense has regressed, the offense is inconsistent, and the team looks unprepared week after week. It's hard to know how much of that falls on Quinn versus the front office, but one thing's for sure. Excuses only go so far in the NFL. When you lose 4 straight, the noise gets louder. Fans start calling for change. Analysts start questioning your message. And even the players begin to wonder if the season is already over before Thanksgiving. For now, the Commanders are clinging to whatever hope they can find. Marcus Mariota will get his shot under center. Luvu will be watched like a hawk by league officials, and the rest of the roster will try to piece together something resembling a functioning football team. But unless a miracle happens, it's hard to see how Washington can climb out of this hole. Injuries, inconsistency, and now controversy have combined to turn a promising year into a cautionary tale. The Commanders' tumble in the power rankings isn't just about numbers. It's a reflection of a team that's lost its way. And as the second half of the season looms, one thing is painfully clear. If something doesn't change soon, this could be remembered not as a minor setback, but as the year the Commanders truly hit rock bottom. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. It seems the drama in the NFL isn't confined to the field this season. Rumors are swirling around the Washington Commanders, and all eyes are on Jayden Daniels, whose latest outburst in the locker room has insiders whispering and fans buzzing across social media. According to sources close to the team, Daniels reportedly lost it After a particularly grueling week of practices, meetings, and media obligations, culminating in a moment that teammates describe as unprecedented for the young quarterback. It all allegedly started after a loss that left the team frustrated. But what has people talking isn't just the defeat. It's the way Daniels reportedly confronted the situation, throwing caution, and perhaps diplomacy, completely out the window. Sources say he stood in the middle of the locker room, gesturing broadly, his voice rising above the chatter, telling anyone who would listen, "I'm tired of pretending everything is fine." The words apparently struck a chord because they weren't whispered, they were shouted, resonating throughout the room like an alarm that nobody could ignore. For a player who has often been described as composed and controlled, the sight of Daniels expressing raw frustration so openly has left teammates and coaches alike shocked and, in some cases, quietly nodding in agreement, perhaps recognizing that the tension he voiced had been simmering beneath the surface for weeks. What makes this incident particularly fascinating and frankly newsworthy isn't just the content of Daniels' outburst, but the timing. The Commanders are at a crucial juncture in their season, fighting to solidify their position in a notoriously competitive division. Every loss, every misstep, is magnified, and tensions are high. Insiders suggest that Daniels has felt the weight of expectations more than ever this year, especially with fans, media, and analysts closely scrutinizing his every move. The alleged locker room confrontation, therefore, isn't just about a single bad game. It's a microcosm of the pressure cooker environment that surrounds a team fighting for relevance and stability. Rumor has it that several veteran players tried to calm him down, offering the typical platitudes about teamwork and resilience, but Daniels wasn't having it. Sources say he gestured toward the coaches, toward the management, and toward the collective team effort, emphasizing that there's a difference between going through the motions and actually addressing the underlying issues that have plagued the Commanders this season. Whether or not his message will have a lasting effect on the locker room culture remains to be seen, but insiders hint that something fundamental has shifted, that Daniels' emotional transparency has left a mark that will be hard to erase. Some sources suggest that Daniels' frustration isn't just about wins and losses. Apparently, there's an ongoing tension between the quarterback and the coaching staff regarding play calling and offensive strategy. Rumors have long hinted that Daniels has felt constrained by a system that doesn't fully utilize his skill set, a point he allegedly made very clear during the infamous locker room moment. By all accounts, he expressed a desire for more autonomy and creativity on the field, insisting that the team needs to adapt to his strengths rather than expecting him to mold himself to a system that isn't optimized for him. Teammates reportedly described the scene as both shocking and cathartic, with some whispering that they had felt the same frustrations but hadn't had the courage or the moment to voice them. The underlying tension, then, isn't just a personal outburst. It could represent a growing schism between player and staff, a narrative that has fans and analysts alike speculating whether the Commanders are at the brink of a locker room revolt or simply a breakthrough moment in communication. What adds fuel to the rumor mill is that Daniels' outburst didn't end quietly. Sources indicate that the incident was followed by a series of private conversations in the coaching offices, where he allegedly doubled down on his position, insisting that the team needed to confront the hard truths if they hoped to compete at a high level. Some whispers even suggest that Daniels' teammates are now divided into camps: those who admire his honesty and are eager to see change, and those who worry that his public display of emotion might destabilize an already fragile team dynamic. Meanwhile, outside the locker room, fans on social media erupted in debate, with hashtags related to Daniels trending within hours. Some fans praised him as a fearless leader, someone who refuses to sugarcoat reality, while others questioned whether his approach could backfire, creating tension where unity is desperately needed. Analysts on local sports shows speculated that this could either be the turning point for Daniels and the Commanders or the start of a deeper crisis that could jeopardize their season if not handled delicately. Adding yet another layer to the story, insiders hint that Daniels' emotional break may have been building for weeks, possibly months. Teammates describe him as someone who internalizes stress and pressure until it reaches a tipping point, and this time, sources claim, the weight of high expectations, coupled with the team's inconsistent performance, created an explosive situation. The quarterback's outburst reportedly included not just vocal frustration, but pointed critiques of specific plays and strategy choices, suggesting a depth of awareness and engagement that goes beyond simple emotion. Observers note that Daniels' passion could serve as a rallying point if harnessed correctly, with some insiders comparing this moment to past NFL incidents where a player's raw honesty catalyzed transformation within a team. Of course, the key difference here is that Daniels' profile is rising rapidly, and the spotlight is far brighter than it has been for comparable incidents in previous eras. Every gesture, every word, is being dissected, and the ripple effects of this locker room scene could extend far beyond the team's facility. Speculation about Daniels' future role in the Commanders' season is rampant. Some insiders suggest that if the coaching staff responds to his candor with openness and a willingness to adapt, the team could emerge stronger, united by a newfound honesty. Others, however, warn that if the situation is mishandled, it could lead to fractures within the locker room, leaving Daniels and the team at odds over leadership and strategy. Rumors have even started swirling about potential mid-season adjustments or playbook changes designed to leverage Daniels' unique talents, with anonymous sources hinting that the quarterback himself may play a role in shaping those adjustments. The narrative here is compelling. A young player refusing to accept mediocrity, challenging authority, and insisting that the team confront the uncomfortable truths that many have ignored for too long. Whether this is a sign of maturity, rebellion, or a mix of both is anyone's guess, but the drama unfolding is undeniably riveting for fans, pundits, and anyone invested in the Commanders' journey. As the story continues to develop, insiders report that Daniels' relationship with the coaching staff is under intense scrutiny. Meetings, strategy sessions, and even casual locker room interactions are being watched closely by both media and team insiders. There is speculation that this moment of transparency could mark the beginning of a new era in Washington, one where players' voices are not just heard but actively shape the team's identity and strategy. Alternatively, some fear that this could escalate into ongoing conflict, with Daniels' outspoken nature clashing with traditional management approaches. Either way, the locker room outburst has set the stage for a dramatic narrative full of tension, uncertainty, and the potential for transformation, leaving fans eagerly anticipating the next chapter in this developing saga. Finally, the social media response has been explosive, with highlights of the incident, anonymous insider quotes, and heated fan debates dominating platforms throughout the day. Analysts speculate about what this could mean for Daniels' leadership image, the morale of the Commanders, and even the trajectory of their season. The incident, now branded by some as the locker room meltdown that could change everything, has sparked conversations about accountability, leadership, and the emotional toll of professional sports. Whether Daniels' outburst will become a turning point or a cautionary tale is still uncertain, but one thing is clear. The young quarterback's refusal to hide his frustration has created a story that will linger in NFL circles for weeks, maybe even months, as fans, teammates, and analysts wait to see what comes next for Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. For now, the whispers continue, the rumors grow louder, and the league watches closely as this story unfolds, a potent reminder that in professional sports, the drama off the field can be just as compelling as the action on it. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.